Well, hello everyone. It is I, the Crypto Smith, or in some circles, Iceberg Smith. Depends on what you prefer. Let's bring up somebody here. Twiz,
Hi.
what's happening, man?
Nothing. Eating Twizzlers, drinking on Long Island.
Sweet. Twizzlers and a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah. I
Excellent.
stopped by one of the little drive-through spots and got like a frozen one or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah, it used to be my drink of choice while I was in the military.
Same. Same. I drank them a lot. A lot.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent. Well, we're just getting started. I don't know if that intro was as loud for you as it was for me. I don't know if you heard it or not, but
I did. It hurt my ears.
it's not going to redo that. Let's see. Let me get through some comments here before we start chatting about crypto stuff. Tim Shea says, hey, because that's what Tim Shea does. That comes from the CTN channel. Tim, how are you doing today? I hope you are, hope you're good. Levi DeFi. I see you changed your name, didn't you? Good to see you here. Glad to have you back. I don't think I've seen you in a couple of weeks, but thanks for showing up. Hey, Levi. Al Mo is here. Mr. Al Mo, the collector of NFTs from MMAI. I know he's got himself a few. Hey, Al Mo. Al Mo says, hell no, Twiz is here.
I mean, can't we boot Almo?
Of course.
I feel like he's the problem.
He can be a bit much, can't he?
Yeah, I can't stand
him.
He's the worst.
I don't know him at all, of course, but I'm sure he's a great person. Tim, how are you? Brian Dowie. Hey, sup, Sean? I appreciate you dropping in. Got Annie Rock here. All the party can start now. Anti Rock, good afternoon. MMAI. Yeah, there's a lot happening. I know out there in the crypto space. You know, we had a nice little drop the other day on the market, a nice 5 to 10%, depending on which token you're looking at. And that was a little surprising, I think. Do you watch the crypto market overall, Twiz?
Yes and no. I'm not daily into it. I check my ticker to see what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but that's really as far as it goes, unless I get wind of something big happening and then I look into it. But I probably should read more, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. So you're not really diving into seeing what's causing the market to move one way or the other?
It depends on how big the move is, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Happy Man, I appreciate you showing up. Happy Man, it has been a little time since we've seen you, but thanks for showing up again. I appreciate that. Hopefully things are going okay in your world. Hey, Happy Man. Tim Shea says, hey, Twiz. Almo's, he's laughing. Okay, good, because we're just joking. Don't get too serious. Gosh, there's, I know there's a ton of MMAI content I want to go over. And I wanted to wait till maybe we get a few more people in here. I was reading just recently. Where did it go? Oops, that is not. Let me close this out. Here's my reading list. Let's move it over to my screen so you guys don't have to look at that. And it now shows. What does it look at that? And it now shows. Everything's all messed up now. Damn it. So a Coinbase survey says 20% now of Americans own some sort of crypto or digital asset. Is this surprising to anybody?
You said 20%?
It says 20% now.
But 20% of some form of crypto?
Well, yeah, it just says crypto or digital assets. I don't know what other digital assets. I mean, crypto. Obviously, if you own an NFT, I would imagine we're considering that crypto.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm surprised at that number. I mean, kind of, not really. Like, I didn't know it was 20%, but it makes sense. Are they counting everybody that bought Shiba a year and a half ago? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
was buying a little bit. I have a friend who has bought no crypto except for $20 worth of Shiba a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? So
right. Yeah, and it could be even the smallest amount. to me, it's surprising. It's a high number for me, but that's just because the world I live in. I literally know out of the, I don't know. I mean, I don't know a ton of people, but I got to know at least 200. Let's say I have access to it, most times from work to family.
Mm-hmm.
I know 3 people who own any sort of Bitcoin or crypto. So yeah, so for me that's surprisingly high, but I don't run in those. I'm an older gentleman, so I don't run with the younger crowd, and maybe it's very popular with them, but not my kids. So
yeah, well, let's think about it. There's I think somewhere around 350 million people living in the U.S. So 20% of that is 7 million. Is that a large number?
70 million?
No, 7 million. Right, 10% of 350 million would be
35 million. Right, we're getting.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
using the same calculator.
Yeah, you're right. 7.
It's
okay,
a lot.
So that is a high
people.
number. Yeah, that's a high number.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's legit, but that did seem very high to me. And then for some reason they had to break it down. Of course, like we have to, we got to divide everybody up into little groups. Democrats and Republicans and whites and blacks and everybody else, and then men and women. And it's they said there's some sort of a chart here, but there is no chart. They didn't include the chart, but it was kind of weird. The poll indicates roughly 67% wanted significant reforms, so it now makes sense why crypto adoption is continuing to pick up steam. So they're blaming, basically saying that a lot of people out there want the financial system to change. And I know there's let me check this Twitter.
Yeah, the problem with that number, though, is it doesn't say how many people were surveyed.
No, we didn't really get all of the details of this.
Yeah, what if that's 67 out of 100, right? Like who gives a shit at that point?
Right. Yeah, sample size matters.
For sure.
Let's see. So this chart here says, let's see, general population, 80% thinks the global financial system unfairly favors powerful interests. I'm surprised it's only 80%. 7 is slightly less for crypto investors. And I'm not sure why it would be slightly less for crypto investors. But this one down here makes total sense to me. Let's see. Needs, obviously these are divided up in categories. Needs a complete overhaul, needs major changes, needs minor changes, and then doesn't need change or don't know, no opinion. 74% of crypto investors think the financial system needs a total change, as opposed to 67% of the general population. Now, why do you think it's higher within crypto?
Oh, that's interesting. Level of change needed within the financial system. So versus crypto investors. Okay, I get it. So I would assume that the number is higher because there are a fewer number of crypto investors, and with everything that's happened within the past year, I think it's high vis. I think. So I'm pretty new to crypto, right? Maybe a year and a half or 2 years into it. And just in the little time I've been in, I've noticed that education has been ramping up and people are becoming more and more wise and hip to what's actually going on. So that might be why the number is higher. People understanding more, but also the same way that people drink the Kool-Aid of certain projects and like they think that project can do no wrong. I think people also drink the Kool-Aid of content creators who say everything is a scam. So they just kind of think everything is a scam, if that makes sense. I don't know if I said that correctly.
Gotcha. I got to welcome Crypto Lounge here to the show. Welcome to the Ford.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing, Twiz? What's going on, Sean?
All good, man. All good. What are you doing? Are you are you driving?
Yeah. I just started. Yeah, I wish I wasn't home. I just started my route, but yeah, man. I hope you guys are doing good. It's a nice evening, man.
Yeah. We're I'm good. Saturday here is just fine. I actually got the house to myself this weekend. The wife and my youngest went to check out the college he's going to go to in the fall. So I'm go live with his brother, which is going to save us a little bit of money. So that was kind of a nice decision on his part. Let's see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna give you my take on why it's higher in crypto. So crypto, and you're right. I think Twiz, you're 100% correct. in that obviously the financial system is much higher vis in this industry, right? And if you're into it, you're paying attention to all the things, and the general population really doesn't, for the most part. But also, I think crypto investors, if you're a hardcore investor in any of the blue chips, any of the big ones, I think you, just like I would feel, a total overhaul of the financial system is going to benefit me as a crypto investor. So, because we assume crypto is going to be part of that somehow, some way, and that there's going to be a benefit for us. So I think that probably counts for some of it.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, I'm looking at the comments. I'm sorry, this is kind of back to what we were talking about. Yeah. Alamo brings up a good point, saying that he doesn't think there are even 70 million people worldwide that are into crypto, right? But I don't know if that's true or not, because isn't it something like 3% worldwide? Isn't that like the figure?
I think it was 4%.
What's 4%
like a year ago?
Because we're almost 8 billion people in the world, I think. So what would be 4% of 8 billion?
4% of 8 billion, that'd be like 320 million.
So 10.
Hang on, let me bust out the
10%
calculator.
of 8 billion would be 800 million, right? And then if you divide that by 10,
320 million.
So it would be 320 million worldwide.
Worldwide.
I didn't even see that you pulled up the calculator. I was staring at my ceiling because that's how I do math, by looking up.
Yeah, I thought it was 320 million, but I just wanted to make sure I'm not, talking out of my ass here.
Okay, so 320 million worldwide, and that article is saying that 70 million of those are in the U.S. I don't know, man.
It does seem
hard
high.
To swallow.
Yeah, it does seem high. Where did it go? I don't know. I think I might have gotten rid of it, but yeah, actually, it was saying 50 million. I don't know why it said 50 million, but yeah, the numbers seem a little askew. So
that's less than a fifth, right? That's somewhere between a quarter and a fifth of the crypto population. And I don't think the US at this point has the largest crypto community, right? Like it's probably, I was going to say China, but they had a ban for a while and they're just getting back into it. So I would think it would be either like China or India, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of the Asian countries, they're very well into crypto. So you would think, they would be a much larger portion, but you got to go by total population, though. Obviously, we have a very large population here in the U.S. Right. A much higher population, but I don't know the access they have to crypto in each of these countries. Well, obviously, South Korea is very crypto centric. We can tell from the projects going on there and what Austin is reporting and what he sees and hears.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does seem very high. Like I said, I know 3 people in my entire world. I know 3 people who hold crypto, and I'm one of them. So it's
you're counting yourself, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. But like I said, I don't hang out in those in the younger population. So could be somewhere, but I don't think 20% sounds way too high.
It does.
Let's see. I don't know. Tim Shea says he doesn't know anyone other than in the space that owns crypto. So in your personal life, Tim, your family and your maybe your coworkers, you don't know anybody else. I work in the plumbing industry as a wholesaler, and I know 2 plumbers that hold crypto, and I think one of them is Shiba, very very big into Shiba Inu, but doesn't know really much about crypto in general. And then another guy, he just bought some stuff on Coinbase, including XRP a while back, and now it's just kind of stuck there. Steve the Canadian, let's see. Steve the Canadian, hi, how are you? I appreciate you showing up.
Hey, Steve.
I hope you guys are hope you guys are good. Let's see, up there in the Canadian world. Let's see. What's up, Steve? Hey, Tim.
I think Steve is the only Canadian investor in crypto, right? He's the only guy.
Yeah, I would imagine he seems to be the only person who understands crypto, and even him, he's very skeptical. I imagine all the Canadians are very skeptical of crypto.
He's a horrible crypto ambassador for Canada.
Yes, they need to elect somebody else who isn't going to just outright ban crypto like the Canadian government likes to ban things up there. Almo says there isn't 70 million worldwide into crypto. I'm going to say there probably is.
Yeah, just based off the math, right? If the percentage that they say is correct, right? But here's so this is weird that this is coming back up. But so when Austin and me and Fan first joined MMAI, I used to talk to Andrew a lot, and one of the conversations we had was about crypto marketing and how there really isn't data for crypto at the moment. Like there really isn't solid information of the numbers and like who is actually invested in crypto and how is marketing actually done and what kind of marketing works and how many people are into what specific type of crypto. Like there really isn't data yet. And that he was hinting that was one of the things that MMAI, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this because it was just kind of a private conversation, but I think he was hinting at this is one of the things that hopefully in the future MMAI can start collecting that data and we can figure out what is going on. Like what is the actual sentiment in the world and in different countries about crypto and what kind of marketing works and where should you market and how should you market, right? Like that information isn't out there now. I mean, if it is, I don't know about it, but
I agree.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, couldn't you use blockchain data? I mean, easily to figure that out? Because I was thinking the same thing. How are they gathering these samples? You know, of data. Where's it coming from? Where's the data pool? But I think it's in the blockchain data, if you will. You know, I think it'd be easy to actually gather. But again, you would have to have an outfit that would be specialized in that area of gathering that type of data. I know from my talkings out on the road, there's a lot of truckers that hold crypto, but they're unreported. You're not going to hear that, you know, because they're most of the time they're in their truck. So a lot of cryptocurrency holders, they're hidden. That a lot of the demographic data, it's very hard to gather because it's unknown. It's literally unknown. I think it's a whole lot larger than the numbers are reporting. I think it's way actually larger than the numbers are reporting, but we would never know until they actually focus, you know, on that situation. I think you can use the blockchain data to really figure it out pretty quick.
I don't think you can. Because the blockchain doesn't unless everyone and every wallet address is doxed, the blockchain doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like
well, that's two different things. If you're talking about identifying somebody, that's different. But I'm talking about just raw data of holders. You got it in the blockchain. You can figure that out. And I'm just talking raw data, not the face of the holder. You know, not where they live. That's going to be tough. But when we're talking about just counting wallets, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, you can count wallets, but a lot of people have multiple wallets.
Yes.
I mean, I've probably got 20 or 25 wallets myself.
Yes.
You know,
the word holders is like a misnomer.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's where the mechanics have to be in tune, because you do have that redundancy factor with the single holder having multiple wallets. I totally get that, but then that's when the software has to be coded to differentiate. You know what I mean? There has to be a think tank for this.
Yeah, but it can't know unless it's tracking some sort of personal information. And that could be as simple as tracking IP addresses, but that's not, I mean, I'm sure it can be done, but that's not really what the blockchain is meant for, right? It's not really meant for collecting personal data like that. So it's just kind of a misnomer. The blockchain can tell you how many different wallets have something, but I could easily, well, not easily, but I mean, if I wanted to, I could probably work up, 100,000 wallets of my own. And that doesn't mean that there's 100,000 people. That just means I was really bored and had a lot of time on my hands. Created a shit ton of wallets.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it can be done. I mean, there's a lot of things that we've thought in the past that can be done that are being done now. So I'm not the type of person that'll say it can never be done, because I've seen things that could never be done that are being done right now. So I think we can do it. I think there's no focus on it, though. Nobody's really focusing their attention on it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, sure. It can be done. I believe it. At some point, they'll come up with a way. But I think in the future, obviously, when we start talking about CBDCs and stuff, that each person's going to have one particular wallet address that's going to be assigned to them, and then you can get more data. But obviously, that's crypto that's now forced onto a population and not people who choose to dabble in Bitcoin or Ethereum. So yeah, it's going to be hard. You know what was funny is I was just thinking the other day, because there really isn't any of this data about crypto adoption and how the average person in each country kind of feels about crypto and the way things are going, I thought it would be nice if I had the money, of course, travel from country to country, city to city, and to actually talk to people and start taking the data, and writing the stories, and that way you can kind of get obviously that's a very slow approach to getting data, but to put a personal spin on it would be kind of cool. Let's see. To go from 4% to 20% in a bear market just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it like I said, that number's got to be wrong. Dubai is big. Yeah, Dubai is huge and has a ton of crypto potential. Everybody wants to go to Dubai and set up headquarters there because they're very friendly. Asia as a whole would be the largest. Yeah, I would assume so. Levi DeFi says he knows one person who has crypto. So yeah, it can't be 20%. Let's see. Happy Man. Hi, Tim. Dubai will be the hub for crypto companies in 2 years' time. A gigantic complex is being built as we speak. I am from Dubai. Happy Man is from Dubai. Excellent. So you are positioned perfectly for crypto adoption.
I want to visit Dubai.
Yeah, I would love to go. And I believe it's a lot like, well, I guess it's probably, what's that? Yeah, and I was talking to my wife about this because I tell her I'd love to go to Dubai, and she's like, why the heck would you want to go to the desert? I'm like, well, it's a really cool city, right? They're very forward thinking. There's a ton of wealth there, obviously, and there's no crime, right? And obviously they don't have the same freedoms, we have here in America, but with that comes, some benefits, there's some negatives there, but it'd be really cool to go see just a completely different culture and a way of doing things.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I want to see the city. I want to see the water and the buildings and the people and the food too. Yeah. I think it would be neat. I would just be afraid of getting kidnapped.
In Dubai?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's a dumb fear.
Yeah, that's probably the last thing I would. I mean, I would be concerned. I'm going to say something, offensive to somebody, or do the wrong thing, right? You don't shake hands with your right hand or so. I don't know. So there's going to be something I do that's stupid and gets me put in jail.
I would love to get a close up of the architecture, man, because they're doing some really cool stuff with those buildings. They're doing stuff that that was never even intended to be done with, as far as skyscraping. I mean, some of those buildings are beautiful, man. There's one large, I think it's the largest one on the planet. I think they have there in Dubai. Largest skyscraper. It's beautiful, man. And then they have these man-made islands too in the sea that they build. It's like a community, and they're like island homes out there. They're like man-made dunes out in the sea. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Palm Islands or something like that. Yeah. I watched some videos on that. It is really super cool, and they got super high winds there. So obviously their building codes are very, as Austin would like to say, robust for them to survive the absolutely harsh conditions living there in the desert, blowing sand, the winds, obviously the heat.
Yeah, the sand situation is crazy. And that heat, oh man. I think in Turkey, it was I think a couple of years ago they got up to 120, probably even hotter than that.
It's probably hotter than that because I've actually played golf at 120 degrees in Palm Desert. It's no joke. I can't imagine just living in that all the time. Yeah.
I was in Kuwait for a bit, and it was like 130 every day. So.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. You think it gets hot in Texas? That's way worse. Way worse.
All right. Brian Dowie apparently is from Canada, so he is number 2. Maybe he needs to take over as the crypto influencer in Canada.
Good. Get rid of Steve. Get him out of here.
Get rid of Steve.
Hey, we got Alex too. He's from up there, up yonder.
Alex who?
Yeah. It's Alex. He's from up there. Crypto for starters. Alex.
He's from. Well, he lives in. I think he lives in Canada or Kansas.
Oh, okay. I thought he's from Canada. So.
Kansas, pretty close.
No.
Oh, okay. No, he's not close at all. He's not close at all.
It's in the middle of the country.
For some reason, he had that aura. Man. I thought he was a Canadian.
I thought he was too nice. So we assumed he was Canadian.
We need to get that Canadian dude that does all the car detail videos. That guy's got like a huge following.
Oh, you talking? Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, there's two. There's two. Yeah, there's the one that does all the repairs. Yeah, no, that's a cool channel too, man.
There's a guy that does like car detailing out of his. Well, last time I watched him, it was out of his garage. I think he finally bought his own shop, but he's got like a huge following. We need to get that dude into crypto.
There you go. Levi says if he was to start a new crypto project, it definitely wouldn't be based in the U.S. With such regulatory uncertainty. Yeah, this is a tough place. Honestly, this is a tough place to do anything. A lot of laws to follow, a lot of rules. You got to, hoops to jump through and all that. But yeah, with crypto, another couple of years, hopefully things will be ironed out.
Yeah, Dubai is definitely the hot spot for it, Sean. I know you got Grove tokens out there. You have a lot of UK developers are going to Dubai with their projects. It's a hot spot.
Yep, for sure. Let's see. Tim Shea, living the dream. Juan, very bullish. Juan Gonzalez is here as well. Juan, it's good to see you. Geez, Dubai, huh? Pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate the support. They could be looking for a number of wallets. If that's the case, their numbers would never be correct. I have 20 wallets myself. Yeah, exactly. If you're into crypto, most likely you have a bunch of different wallets. Well, someone got to live it. Yeah. Let's see. Good point about the 20 wallets. Currently, it would be super difficult to get accurate individual via blockchain without everyone identifying themselves. Yeah, that's Twiz. Brew C in the house. I appreciate you showing up, Brew.
That's another person we can get rid of, right?
Brew, yeah. All terrible people. Unless he's from Canada, now I'm sure he's really nice.
Fan should be here. Just so you know, I know for a fact Fan is in a movie right now with her kids. She's in a movie theater on her phone. She's that jerk right now. Just so you know. Are you ruining the movie for everybody, Fan? That's not somebody behind her is pissed off. She's got her phone. That's funny. Sup, Fan? Sup, dude? And how is she hearing it? Sup, Bruce C?
Yeah, those phones are bright too in the theater. They're like strobes, man.
That's funny. Don't get yourself in trouble, Fan. Zen Project, when launched alone, were able to make the gas fees on ETH go up due to so many transactions. Zen holders now have millions of wallets alone. Ugh. That doesn't sound good. What's Zen Project? I don't know what that is. Almo, apparently, I don't know. Maybe Al's into it. Twiz, stop yelling at me.
Huh.
That's funny. There's no desert left in Dubai anymore. I'm not from there, but I've seen pictures.
I was just thinking that. I've seen some pictures, and I don't remember grass.
Yeah, nothing but dirt and rich people. Hey, Elmo. They
did build like a really big indoor ski resort or something like that at one point, right?
Yeah, they're manufacturing snow and all that. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yep. Yep. Let's see. Hi, Brian. Fine, Elmo. Never heard of kidnapping in Dubai. Yeah. Twiz has unrealistic expectations of what Dubai's going to be like. They're going to ride through on a camel and just snatch you. No, Twiz, we love you. Let's see. Okay, so let's get into some MMAI content. And of course, I have Twiz's excellent notes from the last little Twitter space with everybody. So we know, obviously, this is for everybody who's listening, now or later on. Obviously, the NFT sale has ended. It's over. It's kaput. 151 ETH was sold. I don't remember exactly how many. 201 owners. So that's good. So we got that number up there. And then we had, what was the total? 335. So 335 keys to the city are out there, and 335 properties will be minted at some point in the month or so, whenever they get the platform ready for the reveal of the properties, which is obviously everybody's looking forward to. If you've got an NFT, if you didn't, I'm sorry, there is one available, and it's for 1 ETH. I think it's still on there. Let me go items. Yep, you can buy NFT number 550 for 1 ETH. So if you're really really in the market for one of these, you missed out. At this point, I would think, I would imagine a lot of people are going to wait until the reveals are done and then kind of see which properties are available. And I'm sure somebody who's purchased maybe more than one might be looking to sell. Depends on really what's happening, I guess, at the time. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think a lot of people who purchased more than one, or even some who got in, are just going to try to dump their property for a profit as soon as the reveal happens?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see that. There's going to be some people who are going to want to dump their whole entire situation, the key, they're not going to want to separate it. They just want to get some money. I mean, it's to each its own. You can't really judge. But I myself, I don't plan on selling any of my keys. But I could totally see a situation to where somebody would want to do that. I think we're seeing one, and I'm kind of shocked to see that, Sean. I didn't think we were able to even sell them at this point, but I guess that's been enabled, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Austin didn't say anything about it. He did mention, that it was on here. So I assume that you can sell them. Obviously, you don't know what what would really suck for this person is if they sold this and it turned out that was the one of the arenas.
See, that's my point. You might want to separate that property before you throw that key out there. But I was thinking the same thing. What if that may be the sweet key, and you're just giving it away for a heat? So, yeah, that's pretty risky.
That is risky, and I thought about the same thing. I mean, I did pull the trigger on number 4, so I've got 4. Thinking I'll probably sell, make a little money at some point in the future, but not until I know what property it is. I'll separate the key from the property, which I imagine you can do that.
They're
separate, right?
Yeah, they're already separate.
So that way I have, you can sell a key if you like. And then sell the property separate. Obviously, depending on which property it is, you're not going to get rid of anything really, really good that can really bring some long-term, passive income.
Well, some people might not care about the energy it takes to maintain that, right? They might just want the quick flip.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, I think that's what Michael was saying. To each their own. Everybody's got a plan.
Yeah, I want money for as long as I can get the money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I won't sell anything. Maybe I get 4 decent, 4 billboards, and just I'm able to just rent them out.
Lucky you
for years. Yeah, yeah, no kidding. I would really like a car, or some sort of vehicle would be cool.
Really, dump truck too?
I'll take a dump truck. I'm sure we'll
figure out if I get the dump truck, I'll definitely sell it to you. I'm going to put you down, Sean, right now in my pad. Sean wants the dump truck.
Sean wants the dump truck. Sean's going to come run over all your cars, man.
I think these cars are underrated, guys. I really do. I've been thinking about this, man, because Daniel, he said something about it, back a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, he's right. These cars, man, are really underrated. I mean, we'll be able to wrap them with advertisements, rent them out. Can you imagine one of your cars being rented out like 5 times during one day or so? I mean, it can be pretty lucrative,
Yeah, that's another thing that's obviously going to be fun to watch build. Is that ecosystem and how everything is going to work together. How the token comes into play, which we're going to talk about that here in a second. So let's see. Let's go through the NFTs. NFTs are done. Now we know from the team, from what Austin said, there really is no plan yet for properties. Obviously, the keys are burnt; they're gone, never to be sold again, as far as we know. And the properties that were associated with those keys are now in the hands of MMAI, the development team, and we don't really know because they haven't really decided yet what they're going to do with them, right? And that's kind of the latest info, I believe. They can do anything they want. They can just rent them out at some point. Maybe they can have a sale later on once everything is up and rolling, or hand out specific properties maybe to companies to get them involved. Something like that, I'm sure is on the table. What do you think the best use for these properties would be going forward?
You're talking about the leftovers, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the leftovers. Yeah, what is MMAI going to? What could they do with them that would help the project the best?
I think, personally, if it was me, I would definitely do some auctions with some of the properties. Instead of putting it on a sale price, I would do auctions just so you can get the maximum amount for the situation. And then offer something to some incoming businesses, especially those stores. There was a lot of stores that were left over that wasn't rented. Definitely put those up, for certain businesses that are actually eyeing the Peerverse, have them available for people who are coming in like brick and mortar that's already existing, coming in wanting to a sample per world and what it has to offer, have those available for them to actually purchase. That's the way I would do it.
You're nice. I disagree. You're way too nice. my thought. So we know that MMAI is going to work on a marketplace. My thought is, you didn't get in on the key sale. You said, too bad. I hope MMAI takes all the leftover properties and then they are only available for rent. And then whenever companies rent that, I would love to see their rent go into the MMAI liquidity pool. And then that increases all the holders or the value for all the holders. That's what I would love to see. So it becomes a business. It becomes almost like a stock, like a share in a company, as in the company, the MMAI is now the company. They have a business model. They are now bringing money into MMAI. That goes into the liquidity pool, and that just, if nobody else ever buys MMAI, that increases the value of every token anyway, because they are renting these properties and that money's going into the liquidity pool. I would love to see that. Love it.
I mean, that's a good idea to us, because if you really think about when it transfers into a coin, these taxes are going to go away. So we're going to need something to, go into that liquidity pool. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I like that idea as well. I do. Obviously, a large company, if they want to entice some large company, that they're not going to have an issue paying for one of these properties. But if they gave it away to Nike or something, they say, hey, we'll give you a large shop, prime location, but you bring in the business kind of thing. I mean, I could see that happening as well. I use it as a kind of negotiating tool to bring business in.
No, exactly. That's what I was talking about earlier. You got to have something available, you know what I mean, for those, like you said, Nike, those big names that are kind of like eyeing the situation. You got to have something allotted, set aside for them to come and say, hey, that's what I want right there,
Yep.
Sure,
I think so. What's that?
You can finish your thought. Go ahead. It's your show.
No, I was going to say, so Twiz is being, hardcore businessman, which is fine. Obviously, that kind of thing is needed too. But I think ultimately, it'll probably be multiple things they'll end up doing with these leftover properties.
Yeah,
there's so many, obviously, still out there, 30 or 4,600 ish. That's a lot of properties to deal with. So
yeah. Who's to say that they don't? So if they were to sell a property to somebody, say Nike, like we're saying, Nike has partners, right? I'm pretty sure Nike has, I don't know if subsidiaries is the right word, but Nike is the parent company of other companies, right? So who's to say that they don't they buy it and then just use it to promote all these other options? It doesn't make sense to me for MMAI to sell anymore. They put it out there. I get that the whole world doesn't know about MMAI yet. I understand that. Maybe it's not fair, whatever. But it doesn't make sense to me for MMAI, if Nike came in, they were to just say, hey, we'll sell Nike this billboard. F that. Nike has so much money. We need to rent that out to Nike and just continuously bring in the money to MMAI. That, yes, it's very businessman. I get it, but it just, that's, why would you not? This is a business. MMAI is the parent company of MMAI is Cognico, which is a business, and the point of a business is to make money. So it just, maybe my vision is clouded, but that is what makes sense to me. Like, you have to rent it out at this point and just have the constant income, and it's passive income for every holder, which I think is a very attractive thing for more holders to come in. If they see, these big name companies are constantly renting these properties and that money goes into the liquidity pool, I just need to buy some tokens, and then those tokens will be more valuable in 6 months, because within that 6 months, all these companies are paying their rent. I don't. Yep. I want to say I don't know, so I can play both sides, but I think that's the best idea. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and that totally makes sense. Obviously, we're talking about down the road. When there's a lot of interaction, a lot of eyeballs kind of coming in,
Right.
And checking it out. A big company is not going to really do anything unless there's some sort of traffic
Right.
running through this metaverse. So, and we anticipate that's going to take some time. This is not a, we're not going to be there in 6 months, I don't think.
Correct. I agree. Right.
Let's see, Maddie B. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you popping in here. This is good. Do we have for good fan? Yes, for fun. I can read comments, Twiz, so that's how she knows. Thanks for showing up.
Fan's a liar. Oh, sorry, I had too many noises going at once.
Levi says, "Wait, aren't we here to talk about Stable Fund?" Yeah, nope. Stable Fund is over. As far as I know, that's never coming back. That's a rug. Speaking of rugs, Shinja. You guys know about? Well, I'm sure you know. I know Michael does.
I do. That was amazingly. Oh my God! There's so many words. That was horrible, man. That was very bad. And I'm just seeing that chart, Sean. This is my first time looking at the chart. My God, man.
Well, you gotta go back and look at the whole chart is a mess. I mean, to me, this project was dead 9 months ago. They've done nothing. The community, nobody was using the product. I mean, it's just, I think you have a dev who's like, hey, I kind of give up. I don't know if he has, health issues or not. I know that's what he said, and personal, problems or whatever. But I think trying to revive this dead horse was probably just not in the cards for anybody. And I don't know, if he just cashed out and walked away and kind of screwed everybody or not. I think that's what people are thinking. But if it's a dead project and there's no money coming in and they can't pay to keep things going, then it's, you close the doors. You're like, oh, sorry, I tried. That's it.
Yeah. And it happens to small businesses all the time, right?
It does. And I know, everybody.
Sean, I'm going to tell you, brother, he funneled a lot of money into BlockFi. I think that's what they call that exchange. I think it was called BlockFi. And there was a guy I was talking to. He had proof of Cliff moving a lot of USDC to BlockFi. And as you know, that went bankrupt. So I'm kind of thinking Cliff, he gambled really hard, man. And I think he lost a lot of money, especially dealing with the FT. I think he was probably involved in that FTX thing because a lot of this shit is starting to come out. And I've been talking to a lot of people about a lot of blockchain detective types, and they got the receipts, man. I think he got hit pretty hard with the BlockFi situation, lost a lot of dough because he was moving a lot of, taxes that he was accumulating,
right?
And converting them into USDC and moving them into BlockFi for some time. Well, we all know what happened with that. And then the FTX situation, who knows? I think he just lost a lot of money, and that's why he can't fund the project anymore because he squandered it all.
Yeah. Yeah, and that may be the case, but at this point, what else is there to do, right? I mean, what other choices can be made? They either just keep riding this thing into the ground, or I don't think there's turning it around.
They kind of have, right? Like from
that
day they have basically ridden.
I mean, look at the chart. You can see the horse here on the chart, man. They read it; it's dead. The horse is done.
Yep.
It rode it to some. You know what I was thinking the other day about this? There are so many people. You remember Teddy Ganja when he came on to start doing the coding?
Yep.
This was last year. And then the NFT, that whole situation with the NFT. Waddy knows a lot about that too. I kind of noticed some weird things going on at that point, because it was just strange how they came out with that DEX. There was literally a skin on top of Uniswap. But of course, it cost millions of dollars to make. That just didn't make sense to me. You don't spend millions of dollars on basically doing a replica of Uniswap. All you have to do is copy and paste that. So, I mean, I don't know where that came from. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't think it costs millions of dollars to copy and paste code. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. But I kind of felt like that was a little shaky there. And then those AMAs, there's a lot of those AMAs that just didn't make sense. You know what I mean? It just did not make sense. And then Teddy everything just blows up with Teddy. That's on that. And I never bought Sinja. And one thing that really turned me off was that token supply. It was enormous.
Yeah.
To me, that was a red flag to me at the beginning. I just never invested in it.
Well, remember this came out. Shibnobi, originally came out in the middle of the Inu phase, right, where everybody was launching, something, and the fact that it managed to make it this far to me is amazing with really very sketchy product. It didn't it to me it never seemed like it was going to make it to begin with, just the way they built it. Like you said, the skin that they built and claimed it cost a ton of money. It's just none of it really made sense. But a lot of us really, a year ago, weren't as savvy. Let's say. I mean, there's a lot of people in the space, I think, that has had a very, very hard education over the last year about what to look for in projects. Right? We're miles ahead from where we were. We thought we were smart back then, but we know we're much smarter today. Having been through a lot of these rug pulls and a lot of these companies, and I think the realities of it, that the crypto space is extremely difficult to get any kind of traction, especially when you've got market going up and down, and now we're in a protracted bear market. It's almost impossible to get things going. But back then, everybody thought they were going to make $1 million by putting in $100 on every single project that came out, and not really looking at fundamentals and the realities of the crypto space that is still so tiny, and you keep trying to shill different projects to the same group of people, right? It's because you can see, I went back through when I was in Saitama in the very beginning, and there were, who knows, there were hundreds of Inu projects that came out, some every day. And you could go back through and you could look at some of the wallets, and you could see it's all the same people just moving from one, like Locust, moving from one to the next, to the next, to the next, not ever really bringing in new investors. So to me, it's almost impossible to get a project up and running with, they want to do what was Shibnobi's first thing? They were doing a swap, and then I forget what they were building, but it was the same thing.
Supposed to come out with that blockchain as well. They were going to do the stable coin and all that.
Yeah.
And apparently Cliff was a coder. Apparently he had learned to be a coder, or he was a coder from the jump. And there was some speculation of him building like 2 bots, like 2 different transactional bots, and him implanting them into that code. There was some crazy stuff going on. It just so many red flags throughout the whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So to me, like I said, it lasted this long, which was surprising that it's even, was alive yesterday.
Can I pop in on that? I've been thinking about this for like the past day or two. Personally, I'm not very, we talked about it at the very beginning, right? Like I don't really dive deep into crypto as much as I should, but I know people are screaming Shinja was a scam, but the word scam to me indicates that the intention is to deceive, right? Like, I don't think that was Shinja's intent. I don't think that team, I don't think their intent was just to get a bunch of money and run. I think they had the intent to make a bunch of things that they thought were going to be lucrative and profitable for everyone. It just didn't come to fruition, right? It didn't work because, unfortunately, like many of the crypto projects, they came about right at the peak of the last bull market, where everybody was so hyped and amped and everything was brand new. And so like I remember Saitama, and one of the big things that made me like Saitama was they kept talking about how they're going to educate everybody on crypto and they're going to teach everybody. I was like, that's a great idea. Let's teach people things and make a place where everybody can come and learn and blah, 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 or whatever. But all these buzzwords kept happening with every project. We're going to create a swap that's great. And we're going to create, we're going to work on building a blockchain, and then we're going to make a depth or whatever. It doesn't matter. And all that happened at the same time. And then I think there's kind of a split, right? Like I obviously don't know the numbers, or I shouldn't say obvious because you don't anyway. I don't know the numbers, but it seems like half the people stayed in the bull market mentality, where every time somebody talks about these, it's kind of delusions of grandeur, right? Like they talk about all these great things they're going to do, and they're like, oh my God, this project is going to do all these great, fantastic things, and this is why you should invest in it. And then the other half was like, they're trying to do the same thing that everybody else is doing. You need to see through the BS. And it's kind of, where do you get caught up in that? You know what I mean? I don't think Shinja was purposely trying to deceive people. I am just realizing that like I'm kind of bouncing around ideas, and I'm sorry if this doesn't make sense. I like to ramble, right? This is why I'm much better over text, because I can read and think for like 10 minutes before I respond. But I don't think they were trying to deceive. I think they thought they were going to be successful. They clearly have not been successful. I think a lot of the things that people are screaming scam, and I think like Cliff created the bots and he was sucking away money and blah 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 blah. I think it's all confirmation bias. I think people have already thought that he was a scammer, so anything they hear, they're like, "Yep, that's true. He scammed us by doing that." But I have yet to see proof of these horrible things that people have said. You know what I mean? Like prove to me that he created a bot that did this, and prove to me that all those airdrops were going to him, right? Like all I hear is people saying it, but nobody has proved it. It sounds good and maybe it looks good to them, but you haven't shown me yet. Does that make sense, or am I just
it does, but and right, we're not really ever going to know anything and all of the truth, right? What really happened. Right. And I think a lot of projects, I'll give them credit that they probably have good intentions to start with. They just they fail along the way. They don't have the experience they need. They don't have the financials they need. They don't have the the backup. They the devs. They don't have any of the stuff that they really need, because they really didn't think it through, and they haven't learned from failures of the past. But projects like Shinja, that where everybody's complaining about the airdrops going to the early investors, right? Well, he got early investors like a lot of projects do. They end up getting airdrops at some point along the way, and usually it's spaced out. There's some sort of verbal contract, which is ridiculous. And then they agree that they're not just going to dump tokens on the market, and of course most of them just dump tokens on the market because they just want their money back. And then we blame the devs for that, and we blame the project for that, and we say, oh, look, they're just dumping on us to make money, and they're going to rug and all this stuff. And it's a product of the business that they're running, right? Just like Terrarium, which, look, at all of us, anybody who was at the beginning of Terrarium was very excited about what they were doing, because we didn't really understand the concept of a centralized exchange and how were they really going to make money? How is it going to work? Where's the income coming from and all that? And we never really considered how are they going to keep the project going? Well, they have to continually sell tokens, which hurts the chart, right? On retail, to keep paying for things. But you don't think about that stuff in the beginning, saying, hey guys, what about this, right? And they have a marketing wallet that they're going to keep dumping tokens on the market and killing the price whenever they need to. And you can't really blame them. That's how it was set up. So
see, that's the thing about it. That contract was set up poorly, and you're right. Any type of marketing wallet, it should be an auto convert to ETH. I don't understand why they don't do that. That should be standard. You know what I mean? Autos convert to ETH on any type of development or marketing wallet, and it eliminates all of that. What you just said, Sean.
Yeah.
But I will say, bro, that Rise Up dev, his name is Davey. He had all the proof, and he was crucified. They crucified that man. He had all the proof that you could ever want, and he was basically driven out of the Twitter space. He had it, and there was a lot of other people too that showed proof. But I will say that you are correct. We will never know, man. We will never know.
We're never gonna know.
We're never gonna know, man. But again, it's just so strange, man. It's a strange situation. A lot of people lost a lot of money. I was talking to a couple of guys the other day. He was telling me he lost like $350,000. I'm like, oh my god,
holy shit,
that is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Wow. I want to say hi to Heartless Mining Reviews and Gaming. He says, hey, sir, I do appreciate you showing up here. I know this was probably 30 minutes ago because I'm way behind on the chat, but I do appreciate it. Heartless Mining Reviews and Gaming. He's got a channel. Go check him out. Let's see. Aiden Smart Fan. We can piece the Lego man, take his legs. Oh, they're talking about you, Twiz. She's taking you apart. Hey, Heartless. Let me get through a few of these. But that was a good segue to talk about MMAI and how we've become more aware of how contracts are built, how the project is set up in the beginning. Where's the money coming from? What's going to increase the price of the token at some point in the future. Like, where is the real token utility, not project utility, coming from? And that's MMAI has shown us that it can be done properly. Obviously, you need the resources and the funds. And if you have real world businesses that are already very successful, lots of real world experience, you already have that tech, relationship is already there, where you don't have to just come up with a token, have everybody buy it, and then use that money in order to build your project, right? These are nice things that we get to look at with MMAI. The devs don't own any tokens, so they're not going to sell. They don't need to sell tokens in order to fund the project. So that is a bonus in and of itself, which, I think going forward, now all of us who are here, and I'm sure everybody who's listening, is going to be much, much wiser in the future when a new project comes up, and they're going to be able to kind of take it apart piece by piece and see, does this really look like a good project? How does this compare to, the failures of the past? And have we moved on from this, just the hype mentality about it's going to be, revolutionary and the next best thing, instead of really just looking at the mechanics of it and the just the basics. So that's how I feel about MMAI. That's why I'm so let's just say bullish on the project, and not that it's going to moon in the next 6 months, but over time, it's a real business, and it's going to build volume as adoption comes. So I think we're situated pretty nicely with this one.
You know what I like about it, Sean, is the fact that the technology is identifiable. There's no mystery. We know where it's being built. We have Austin there on site. A lot of projects, they don't have that. A lot of I'm in a couple of them. I don't know who the hell the developer is. I don't know how in the hell they're going to get everything going. We just hope they do. But with MMAI, we're pretty much in the know. And it's really cool to have Austin on site. Actually seeing this. And being able to report this. He's doing lives on this, and you get to have that interaction with him. He's part of the team. See him. That is different, bro. It's quite different. You don't see that in the space. I only see it with MMAI.
Yeah, that's true. We don't ever get to look behind the curtains, of these crypto projects, and which is why I think a lot of them end up failing. I mean, 90% or more, fail and never even make it a year because the community loses trust. Right, the things that have been promised don't end up, turning out to be true, or they're just pushed off indefinitely because they have money problems or tech issues or dev issues. And then the community ends up losing faith, and then they just take their money and move elsewhere. Right. And that's the cycle.
Does a level of transparency give you caution, though?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. For me, well, not for me. But go ahead, Sean. Me, absolutely not. I like that window that I can look through and actually verify what I'm hearing.
Yeah, true. And for me, it's as simple as devs that aren't doxed. And for me, I don't care what you're, when we can have arguments all day long on this, and I usually do. I don't care what the reasoning is. If you're not confident enough in your business abilities to put your face on your project, on your company, then I can't put my money there. Right. And yeah, we can say, oh, we'll look at, Shiba and Volt, like they're doing great, but those are outliers.
Are they though?
Right? That's not the standard.
Are they doing great though?
Well, I mean, they're still around, which is better than most. So yeah, that's what I say. Like, then I'd argue with people all the time. I'm like, if you're not able to dox yourself as a dev or as a CEO or as the head of whatever crypto project you're doing, then I don't trust you, because I don't care what reason you give. It's for my family's safety. Well, do you think the guy down the street who has a very successful business doesn't want his face out there because he's worried about his family's safety?
Yeah,
like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
If you say that tells me, one, you don't have faith in your project. Two, maybe you're doing some shady shit and you don't want people to find you when you're done doing your shady shit. I could be wrong, but that's what it tells me. The idea of anonymity in crypto and in DeFi, I think, is meant to be the holder, the people, right? The general masses. But if you are creating a project, I 100% believe that you are essentially a business or a company, and your ass should be doxxed. End of story. The anonymity isn't for you to make a project and that you can just fucking disappear from. Excuse my language, right? I told you I had that Long Island.
That's okay. That's all right.
Big ass Long Island. Yeah, the anonymity is me as the consumer. I should be able to buy and spend my money how I want. But if you are the company or the business and I'm investing in you or buying your product, I should know who you are. You don't need to know me, the consumer, right? Unless you want to sell my information because that's a lucrative business, but it's completely off topic. But business owners, project owners should be doxxed. End of story. I don't care what you have to say. If you don't want to, then I don't care about your project. I don't.
Yeah.
That's me personally. Don't care.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I don't know. You know, I sway back and forth on this one because I look at Bitcoin. We don't know who the hell created that, you know, and it's running beautifully. It's been running. It's like cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? It's number one. And no one knows who in the hell created that.
Are you worried about
it could possibly run?
Who
it could possibly go either way.
Bitcoin.
No. Listen to me clearly. Bitcoin can go to zero, and that is considered a rug for most. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Now, obviously, we wouldn't know if it was rugged by anybody because we don't know the damn creator. Okay, but it can go to zero.
Well, it can only go to zero because of people selling it. It can't go to zero because the dev decides to take all of the Bitcoin and sell it off.
Yeah, stop flooding Bitcoin.
No, exactly.
Don't FUD my Bitcoin.
But I'm just saying, no. I love Bitcoin. But I'm just saying, just to twist his point, you know, you look at it though. I mean, it's a lot of mystery there. You know what I'm saying? We don't know anything about it, but it's beloved. You know what I'm saying?
But
everybody
remember,
loves it, but we don't know shit about it.
Though this is the exception, not the rule. 99%, you know, are not Bitcoin, or you know, or Shiba.
And who just sold? Somebody just sold 50,000 Bitcoin, right? 2 days ago. Who was that?
Yeah. No, that was a collective effort. You know, that was kind of organic if you want to really put that label on it. It wasn't. It had nothing to do with the Silvergate and all that stuff. Yeah, it was some transactions all that kind of came together. But that was a massive sale. That was pretty steep. But you know, I think it's starting to recover. But I mean, it moves slow. The only time it moves fast like that is if you have a collective sale, which is very interesting. It was very interesting.
It's weird. Knowing what we know about Bitcoin and the charts and like the pattern that it goes through, why would you not hold one more year? I mean, maybe there's something going on and they need the money, right? I get it. But if you could just hold on for one more year, the Bitcoin halving is 13 months away, 14 months away. Next April, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, next April. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. I mean, if you everybody's like, oh, it's so far away. Really, that's not that far away. You know, I mean, if you really think about it. You know, and I'm a trucker, so these days run together for me. But yes. You know, and days are fast. You know, because I'm a trucker, and Sean, you know, these days go by fast. That's not really far for me, but I will say that was an interesting dump. That 52,000, that was very interesting. And you know, we have these bankruptcies. Orger is about to liquidate too. If they haven't liquidated already, they're about to do a nice little dump too. Satisfy those the bankruptcy situation, and then who knows what's going to happen with DCG's portfolio? That's still in limbo. There's a lot of stuff that's about to happen this year, man.
Yeah, but I think this stuff it's healthy now for this market. These things need to happen, right? All of the bad actors out there and illiquid companies that basically didn't plan, they need to go away, right? They need to go away in order for us to move forward. So, and this year is gonna seem really, really long if it is we're just in this bear market all year. That's what really drags everybody down and shakes a lot of people out, which is fine as well. The people who can't stomach protracted bear markets. That's you got to move on, and then unfortunately you'll get back in when things are already up quite a bit and they're starting to make headlines, and you'll miss out. So don't get shaken out.
No, I think we need a purge. I really do, and I think this is actually the best time to really get into the solidify projects. Right in the middle of the purge.
Yep.
Yeah, we're kind of having like sequential is not the right word, but we're having. What, I don't know the right adjective. We're having purges. What's the right word? Like slow and steady, incremental purges. What's the word? Because it's been happening for a few months now, right? I don't know the right word, but it seems like every couple of weeks a new catastrophic event is happening. Like we are having the crypto purge, so to speak, over the past 6 months, maybe more.
They call it crypto contagion, right? It's basically this is a virus that started, really. Probably with Luna, and everything is cascaded since then. And FTX, if the bull market was continuing, we wouldn't know any of this stuff yet, right? But this is because things are down, people are getting out, people are selling, and they don't. They're not looking like geniuses now that the bear market is gone. So all of these companies, and it is a purge, and we need to purge. I do agree with you, Michael, that we got to get all of these bad actors out of the space. And I don't know if we're going to really have any sort of legit regulations before the market comes back. Hopefully we do, but that is the world we live in now. And yeah, every week there's another bank, another Silvergate. Obviously they had a lot to do with FTX. They had a lot of money involved in that, so they may be next. I don't think that really tanks the market, but look at, let's see, what was it? What's the other stable coin that just got called out?
BUSD?
Not BUSD. I know BUSD just got delisted from Coinbase, and that's
that was about to. I think they reported that when Paxos was going through their little ordeal. That was, everybody should have known that, but they're going to support that for a year until the next year. I think February 20th to be the last support day. So you got until then to move out. Everybody should move out of that immediately. I wouldn't hold it for a year, but
they did say they had liquidity enough to to cash everybody out. So hopefully that doesn't have any snags in it, because that's really going to create a problem. If there's some things that go wrong with that. It was Tether that got called out for a lot of fraudulent activity when they're opening up bank accounts using shell companies and falsified documents. I guess they found out, but yet the U.S. government is doing nothing. The SEC is doing nothing about it.
Like Wells Fargo and credit cards.
You're talking about Silvergate, Sean?
I'm talking about Tether. When they're trying to.
Oh yeah, because see, I was wondering which one. I thought it was USDD, but it's Tether.
It's Tether, yeah. They were calling out. Obviously, we need to get to a point where Tether, their reserves are identified, and they're purposely not identifying their reserves because everybody thinks, well, they clearly don't have enough to cover one-to-one. That's the thought. Obviously, there's no proof of that because nobody knows what their reserves are because they won't provide them. So that will come to a head, I think, at some point. Tether
the reserves as in like, what are they backed by? Is that what
yes, yeah. What are they holding where that they can liquidate if there's a bank run and everybody wants to get out of their Tether? And they got $71 billion tied up in this. Where's that money? Right? What is it? Commercial paper? Is it real estate?
Is that really what
Like,
they have tied up, or is that well, I was gonna say, is that the market cap? But if they're 1-to-1 with the dollar, then I guess that's supposed to mean they have that amount.
They should have $71 billion worth of reserves somewhere in something.
See,
I'm assuming it's
this
multiple
right
things.
here, Sean. This USDT, this stuff, they had them on the ropes 3 years ago on the same situation. USDT has been going through this for a while, and it just kind of went dormant, and then now we have it again. So I'm shocked that they're still in business. It doesn't shock me, but the Silvergate thing is really, really crazy because they sold long on those securities and the capitalization was short. Well, it's because they lost it in the FTX. They were playing around with Alameda and FTX, and they lost everything. And that's just one of those deals where they knew it last year, that fourth quarter report. They knew what was going on. They never reported it. and then they filed that incomplete report. It's like, how do you file an incomplete report? You know, you can't make this shit up, bro.
Yeah, I listened to somebody who was involved with it, and they said they were doing an interview, and they said the fact that the assets are hidden, right? It was a benefit for everybody and not a negative. So they were trying to spin it like, well, we're kind of holding things back, and that's really a benefit for the market because now nobody can come after our assets and it doesn't make them public, and all this ridiculous crap they were talking. I think really kind of showed that they don't have the backing that they say they do, or the reserves.
Oh no! Did you see their debt? Their debt is like south of $1 billion. I think it's like $954 million worth of debt. They only made $75 million in 2021. They're screwed.
Yeah.
And here's the really bad part about this, bro. And I'll back off of this because this is really sad. They were basically startups for a lot of layer ones. I'm waiting for that information. I want to see which layer one they were capitalizing, they were funding up to this day, because we need to know that. We really need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the day that Tether goes down, that's going to be a rough day for the market. A very rough day. All right, let's get back into MMAI. And I'm just reading through the chats, and Matty B looks like he's a little upset about something. I just kind of been reading through it. Tim Shea, I know it's hard to understand him sometimes. It's very sad. I can't seem to do it out here. I'm not sure what the issue was, but Matty B got started on something. The Grand Commission is here. I appreciate you showing up. Thanks for popping in here. We're going to talk about some more. I'm here, Tim. We here. Hi, LeGrand. Let's see. Everyone's saying hi. Let's scroll down, see if we got any liquidity missing from V1 to V2. Sounds intentional. I'm sure he's talking about Shinja or Terrarium, maybe, because they missed $1 million worth of liquidity, kind of evaporated from V1 to V2, and I'm sure that went to the dev team to pay their bills. And Almo, the scam started with Shinja angel investors dumping on the community. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a long time ago we were talking about that.
Yeah, that was at the very beginning. I was watching that daily because I had Shinja at the time before I got out. Yeah. And I know Cliff was trying to console everybody or calm everybody down. They're like, look, we have agreements. There was only one or two people, and we're like, well, where are those contracts at? Did you have actually signed contracts with these angel investors that said they wouldn't dump on the community? No. It was just a verbal. Yeah. They just said they wouldn't do it. They promised me.
Yeah. And then he created that bot. Remember, he said, well, I'm going to code a bot that'll blacklist them and keep them from selling. Yes. And then they created another bot that basically nullified that bot. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, I don't think that equals scam. I just think that equals kind of poor business model.
Yes, it wasn't set up very well. Doing the old "trust me, bro" model doesn't work. Right? That's
really
not a good way to do business. No,
I'm very good at the "trust me, bro" model.
Trust me, bro. Yeah. I'm not going to dump my tokens.
Hey, it's weird. That may have not been a scam. We don't know, but man, it was one hell of a. Ooh, I almost screwed up because let's just say it was one hell of a mess up.
I agree.
That was pretty bad, bro.
It was bad. I've yet to see evidence that it was intentionally to screw over investors, and that's what I think. If we can get way off topic, I feel like people outside of crypto, just people in general, don't really know what evidence, like the actual term evidence, means, and proof. I don't think they know what that means. I think a lot of people in the world are subject to confirmation bias, and they already have an idea in their head. And when they see something, they're like, yup, that fits into what I think, so must be true. They think Shinja's a scam. So they're like, everything that I see equals scam. And I don't think that's the case, because I haven't seen point A be connected to point B yet. I get how what you're seeing makes it seem like, point A connects to point B, but you haven't actually shown me how it gets there, if that makes sense. We're all falling to that, right? Like, yeah. I can talk a big game like I'm not, and I have my own confirmation bias about shit, right? Like we all do, but sometimes you have to take a step back and be like, yeah, I want to scream scam, and it looks very scammy. I just have not been able to actually prove that is the case yet. It looks that way. I just, I can't connect the dots.
Hey, Twiz, hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you, it's walking like a duck, brother. It's walking like a duck, man. But but I guess to your point, bro, he did create that bot, and I guess we could say that creation of that initial bot to stop the selling was his way of trying to control the situation. So you never know, man. But it looks like a freaking duck. It's walking like one too.
Yeah, got a little smelly there at the end.
Sorry, excuse me.
So let's get back into MMAI, because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about here.
Let's do that.
Let's go. Let's see these NFTs. I know this was one of the notes. I wasn't able to hear, I think, this part of the Twitter space, but there was NFTs that are going to be designed for music. So what do we know about that? Because I don't know anything about the music business.
Okay.
And I know even less about NFTs. So what does that mean?
Okay. So precursor, I was actively working, like on the clock working, on top of, I think the youngin was here. So I was talking to her as well. So kind of a couple things happening at the same time while I was listening in. But if I recall correctly, Augie was saying, forward thinking, they would like to use the marketplace and NFTs within MMAI to allow music artists to basically prove ownership of their content, of their creation, their song, their music, their whatever they create, and allow them to do that via NFT. And that NFT proves that they created the content. It can be passed around. People can use it. There was talk of, the more people that take this NFT or so it doesn't have to just be one NFT, right? Like if I created music, I can create like 1 million NFTs of that same song, so 1 million people could download it, right? But that NFT has royalties attached to it, so that anybody that buys it, the artist can get their money. Unlike when they go to a record company, the record company charges for distribution, they charge for marketing, and they charge for like 10 years later, they charge for all the radio stations that are playing it. You know what I mean? Like the production company the record company gets the money for that. So they want to make it so that people making music or making their own art in some form can do this via NFT, kind of like SoundCloud, right? And with SoundCloud, you can claim it's yours, but via the NFT. And then as the NFT gets passed around or duplicated, or as they make more, the artist is able to say, this is mine, right? Like I can prove that this is my music. I created this music, and anybody that uses it or buys my NFT or uses my NFT, kind of they have to give me a royalty fee, right? Whatever the percentage is.
Right.
I've lost my train of thought, but that's where I feel like I said where they were going with that. I'm so sorry. It was a really big Long Island iced tea that I had.
Okay. No problem.
No, dude, I'm gonna tell you, I absolutely love this. Sean Twiz, if this is going to happen, this is big, because the music industry, the record companies, the record labels, those major labels, they're going to hate this. They hate the fact that a lot of artists are moving towards non-fungible token technology, because it allows them to keep their master copy, and that's very important when you are an artist in the I'm talking audibles and things of that nature. Musical artists. Having control of that IP, your master copy, that's big, bro, because you make money and it comes to you. It doesn't get split 3, 4, 5 different ways. You don't have to worry about being involved in like 6-year contracts to where you get peanuts. If you can establish your masters on an NFT platform, like the stores, you have an artist that's big in production. All they need is one of those stores, and they can establish their master copies via NFT technology and sell their product and get all the rewards back, and not have to worry about the residuals being leached by record labels. This is big, man.
Yeah, it's very much the same way they didn't like SoundCloud, right? SoundCloud, when it came out, was a very big platform where people could start promoting their own music and promote themselves, and it worked really. Post Malone was discovered off of SoundCloud, right? I'm almost positive that that's where he was
I mean,
discovered.
I think, was it TikTok or something? I don't know. I thought
No,
it was
I'm pretty
TikTok.
sure he was just. If I remember correctly, I think Bieber found him on SoundCloud, and that's how Post Malone ended up getting signed and blah 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 and whatever. And I didn't like that dude at first; I thought he was weird. But now I own every single album that he puts out, and I like it. But that's not what we're talking about. You distracted me. Let's continue on.
No, but let's talk about his contract because he signed to a major label.
You're right.
And I don't think he don't have control of his masters. They own his masters. So, throughout this contract, if something happens to him, none of that money is going to go to his family. The record label keeps every bit of it, and they can make money from 20 years out because they own those masters. When you like what you're talking about, what MMAI is doing and having that outlet, that platform for artists, that'll never happen in that environment. That could easily be passed to the family. You know what I mean? That's why I love it.
You're right. And I think there are record labels that have tried that, and it just isn't lucrative for the record label. But you're right. And who's the biggest name in music ever, right? Probably like Michael Jackson, right?
I would say Prince was really badass, but that's just me.
I'm not a fan of Prince. I think Prince is a weirdo, but this is a whole nother conversation. And I don't think he had as many bangers as Michael Jackson did. But like even with Michael Jackson, like they can still do his greatest hits and make money off of Michael Jackson, and his family doesn't get shit for that, right? So,
yeah, you're right. That catalog was a big deal before he died, and they never. He had, I don't know what, I think Sony or whatever, I don't think the catalog even went back to his family. But you're right, bro. All those millions of dollars gone. The record label controls all that.
And he's got like 40 years of music or something, right?
Yeah. The catalog was enormous. And I think he had possession of the Beatles catalog too at the time. Paul McCartney sold it to him. So he had a lot, bro. I mean, I guess you're right, man. I mean, as far as business wise, I mean, he was king, man. He had the Beatles catalog and he had his at the time. But if you're dealing with NFTs, if you do it like we're talking about, you don't have those problems. Your family's okay; they're taken care of because all that IP is where it should be.
Have you listened to a lot of the Beatles? They really aren't that good. Unpopular opinion, but
that'd be very unpopular.
Hey, but that catalog is.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some good songs, right? They got some very popular songs, but they also have a lot of really corny fucking shit that I don't care about.
Well, yeah.
It was a different world back then.
Sorry, I digress. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so that sounds cool. For somebody who doesn't know anything about the music industry, that does sound pretty freaking cool. So we're going to look forward. I don't know if they came out with some sort of a time frame for that, or this is just another utility that the team's working on. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that in the future.
Yeah, it's like a TBD, right? Like it's a forthcoming idea that they are working on. I think so. Daniel Gayton is pretty big into music, and so I remember him and Augie were having the conversation. So if there's anybody that hung on to every bit of information that came out of Augie's mouth, Daniel Gayton is probably the guy to talk to understand what Augie was telling him about it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Excellent. And then I want to go into the wallet here, and then we're going to talk about the game, right? Everybody's looking forward to the game, I think. So the wallet, really, I don't think there's anything new other than the fact that they're coming out with the next version of the beta. And this is going to be, I think somebody mentioned could be in the next week or so. And then it's going to get beta tested. So I'm assuming some things are added. There's some added utility or use case for the wallet. Still 3-in-1. It's still the hot wallet, a cold storage device, and the offline portion, right? That's the 3 different wallets. That'll be in one. Still $49.95 to activate cold storage. Some of that's going to go to the token to purchase the token, and then some of that ends up going to the dev team to work on improving the wallet. Do I have that correct?
Oh man, I am so sorry that I was distracted.
No, that's fine. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Sean, you got it, Sean. 100, bro.
Okay, but still no iOS, right? And we don't have any idea when that's going to come out, if that's going to come out. So everybody,
we don't need iOS, Sean. Pretty good with Android, buddy.
I was going to say, man, everybody just needs to sell their Apple devices and get back onto on Google. So,
was that the question about iOS? Was that the question?
No, I know there isn't any information that nothing they can tell us, right? It's all up to Apple at this point.
Yeah, apparently Apple is being super strict on crypto projects in general at the moment, and I mean that's what they're saying. I don't know, but I believe them. I don't feel like the MMAI team has lied to us about anything yet. At least I haven't caught them in a lie yet. So if they are lying, they're very good at it. But I don't think that.
No, I would. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, what other reason, is it other than Apple's, dragging their feet, and maybe they're just being hyper, cautious about everything. That's, obviously.
I think you're right, Sean. I think you're right. And once they do their research, once they really get down to doing the research on the project, I think they'll soften up, and we'll see that on ISO.
All right.
It also started with they changed their policy on in-app purchases or something like that too, right? Like what constitutes an in-app purchase and whether or not Apple gets a cut of that, I think was part of the issue. I can't remember. I'm just saying words.
That's okay. That's all right.
You're right. Though. They pulled a lot of crypto apps off of that store. You're right. You guys are right about that. I've seen a lot of those crypto apps come down within the past couple of months. Well, the past 5 months, they yanked a lot of them.
And then we got the game. Twiz, do you play games?
I streamed on Twitch for a couple of years, to be honest with you, but then I started doing adult stuff, and it's been a while. I want to get back.
Whoa! This is some new information right here.
It's not, just so you know, once the crypto thing started taking off, and so actually once I started with MMAI and MMAI started to grow, I got rid of a lot of all the social media stuff that showed my face and who I really am. I deleted a bunch of stuff just because there are weirdos in crypto. So Crypto Lounge and I talked about me building a PC, which I've removed. Like, I'm working on building a PC online, and I have removed and added new stuff so far. But I'm thinking that once I build this PC, when the game comes out, I might start streaming again just so I can get the word out about this game. I've really thought about it. I had a small following on Twitch. I was nobody famous, nobody big. Went to a couple conventions. I had a zip up hoodie, whatever. I was a nobody on Twitch.
So you're a nerd. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I am, but I am inside, but I don't let people know that because, my outside persona is tough guy, right? Like weird alpha male syndrome bullshit or whatever. That's my outward personality. I'm so tough.
I mean,
fuck that.
Hey, the nerd stigma is kind of evolved. So I mean, we could, if you like computer building, I don't think that's really being nerdish. I mean, everybody's got a computer these days. Everybody's gaming,
Yeah. The nerd doesn't necessarily have the negative connotation that it used to.
God, I want to beat you guys up so bad with all this fucking computer talk.
Nerd icon.
Back in high school, nerd would get you beat up pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
No, I honestly though, I can't wait to build another PC. I'm super excited about it. So I've only ever built the one that I have now, and I built it with a friend because I'd never actually built a PC on my own. But I've been digging through everything that's out there right now, and I cannot decide on the build I want because there's just a lot of it. This is me being a nerd. There's so much exciting computer shit out there right now. I'm so excited. I didn't know that there were motherboards with Wi-Fi capability. That's a new thing to me. I'm sure it's been I'm so stoked. But I want nothing to do with it. I like it. I don't want it. I
recommend it.
No,
I recommend it. I really do. They have some with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled.
I don't want it. I want my cable plug.
You have to.
I want my direct speeds.
No.
F Wi-Fi.
No, we don't want that. Trust me. I could still hear that modem And you remember those old modems? I still have nightmares about the freaking modems we used to have in the 70s. I'm
The
dating myself, but
70s.
Still got that AOL.
yeah, man,
dial up.
yeah. I was born in '75. I remember that distinct hum. I remember that.
I can remember being 16 and trying to get on the internet at like midnight and being worried that my dad down the hall could hear the fucking modem wearing up. And I was like, oh my God, he knows I'm doing some shit I shouldn't be doing right now. He's going to come out. I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to be grounded. He's going to take the keys from my car. I'm in trouble. I knew it. Like, I remember trying to like stand in front of the computer thinking that the sound waves wouldn't make it down the hall because they were bouncing off my chest.
Dude, you remember the early ones? They sounded like you had like a Tesla coil inside of your computer tower. It was crazy, man. But we've come a long way, wouldn't you say?
Oh.
We have come a long way. And I do remember the old modems where you had to take your actual phone and stick it on that little device with little cups on it. Yeah. Trust me, I'm that old.
Oh my God, yeah.
I am that old.
That
was high school.
Well, Sean, you would remember the old Commodores where you remember we didn't have floppy disks, we had tapes, literal cassettes that had the data on it. That we had
I had a Commodore 64. I did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Well, we really are dating ourselves.
Yeah, I'm old as shit, dude.
Who do you think remembers like if you talk to anybody? I don't want to say I don't even know the age group, but like all I can think of right now is like a 3.5-inch floppy and having to turn the little switch down to make sure that the floppy stayed in the damn drive.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, they went from 5 1/4, the really, really floppy ones, right? And then they went to 3 1/2, the hard disk, the hard shell disk.
We thought we were happy though when we saw that hard disk. We thought we were serious business, man. We went from those floppies. You remember the Apple IIc? We're really getting into it now. You started this, Sean. You started.
Damn.
You remember the green screen? We thought that was amazing. You remember?
I said it wrong. What was the big floppy? It was a 5-inch.
The 5 1/4-inch was the big, like really flexible one.
The 3.5 was the one that finally had the hardcover and the little silver slider thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. My bad. And then I remember in high school taking a DOS programming class and learning how to make a clock in DOS. That's all I remember is how to make the clock show up.
Yeah, I took a class too. Obviously, the computers were a bit older. I remember that they were TRS 80s was the actual model number, and I know that because we used to call them trash 80s in school because they were just the worst of the worst. Even at that time, they were bad for what computers were. So we got to do a little demo, shooting game, little space laser thing. It was weird. It didn't really help me in my life after high school. So I can't imagine why not.
F Joe Crypto is asking about laser discs, and I don't even know why he's bringing that up.
Laser discs.
Laser discs around like 3 months.
That was very, very quick. They went. They were so heavy and so thick and so big. They were ridiculous.
That was unfortunate because they spent like so much money on marketing that, and no one cared. No one cared. And it was pretty damn cool, but no, I don't even remember seeing any of those in anybody's homes.
My neighbor went out and bought one right when they came out, spent like $2,000, which back then was a ridiculous amount of money on this thing. Yeah, and it probably lasted. I think the videos themselves were like $50. I mean, it was crazy, but yeah, it was super cool as a kid to watch that. But then thinking like, you went from, the videotape, which was very easy. I mean, you had to fast forward and rewind and all that shit, but you went to this very unwieldy, large, heavy disc with a very expensive player that you had to buy. And then, like 6 months later, they came out with, they started to come out with CDs and shit. So it was crazy. Somebody got screwed on that one. Let's see. So the game itself, we know there's going to be a beta, and the beta is basically just going to kind of test the functionality of the game. I don't think there's going to be any super complex gameplay going on. So, and I imagine it's going to be difficult, obviously, for the devs. to know what it's like once you get 50 people, on playing at the same time, or whatever it turns out to be. So the nice thing about purchasing a Keys to the City NFT is that we are going to get to play this game first. So whoever's listening, if you guys have keys, you're going to get to be part of the beta test, and that is going to be that should be super cool. So I am looking forward to that. I do like to play games. I do play some games, some COD type stuff. So even at my age, it's still fun. Let's see what else about the game. Let's see, creating content. Now here's a part that I didn't quite completely understand. I know are outside people going to have the ability to build in-game content?
That was a discussion that they had. So it's a more like a forthcoming idea. It's not something that's being worked on. From what I gathered anyway, it's not something that's being worked on the moment. But the conversation was around people being able to create. Man, Austin relates it to like Roblox, where people can create things that other people can use, but in MMAI, it's going to be NFT based. So if you are a developer or somebody who is a novice or whatever, and you want to start creating skins and you want to create weapons, or you want to create anything for the MMAI for Pure World, as not just the games, that you'll be able to do this, and MMAI will help you market it, and you can get your residuals or your passive income, where you can sell it and you can make money off of it. They're not just going to be like, okay, cool, you made that, we're going to upload it, and then MMAI is going to take the money. So it's something that, if I understand correctly, they were saying if it's worthwhile and it makes sense and you develop it, they will help implement it into the games or into the metaverse. Or if you're building and anything that can be added to the metaverse, they will help you add it. But they also mentioned that I could be misconstruing this, but I think it was that you have to be well versed or knowledgeable in UE5, because that's what it's going to all be based off of. So it's not like any random 12-year-old they're just trying to make a whatever could pop in and make a thing and sell it. It has to be somebody that knows Unreal Engine 5, which I should backcheck. Could be a 12-year-old, right? But that 12-year-old's gonna have to have knowledge of Unreal Engine 5. Gotcha. They can't just come in and 2 days later make something and then it's being sold. You know what I mean? Like, they're looking for quality things. But if there's somebody that isn't actively employed by MMAI or NS Labs or Cognito or ICT or whoever, if they're making valuable content, MMAI will help them make that lucrative for them, or make that a business or profitable. I feel like I'm rambling. I always feel like I'm sorry.
Can you shut up already, Jesus?
I'm so sorry.
It's like the beautiful part of open source technology. That's beautiful, man. That's my first time hearing about this. This is really cool, man.
Yeah, but there's a difference between open source and making something for a product. You know what I mean? So they said the word, they did say the words open source, but open source means that all of their code is out there for anybody to see. You know what I mean? Like OpenStack. I don't know if you're familiar with OpenStack, but OpenStack is a software that helps for building private clouds, right? And all the code is out there. Anybody can build an OpenStack private cloud for their business or whatever. And it's huge. Like, you can have the hundreds of thousands of cloud computers built off of OpenStack. I'm going on a tangent, but I don't know that. So even though they said they mentioned the words open source, I don't know that is exactly what MMAI meant. I don't know that they're going to release their code to everyone to say, this is all of our code, build MMAI stuff. But that could
be so it's not open source then, essentially.
I to be 100% honest, I do not know if they're going to be open source or not. I know that at this very moment, they are not giving their code out to everybody. right? They're holding on to it very tightly because a lot of it, they talk about it being proprietary. They talk about getting patents and things like that. So I do not believe at the moment MMAI's blockchain is going to be open source. What I think is from what I've heard, they're going to make APIs available so that people have the ability to make things and put it on MMAI, which is way different than having access to all of the MMAI code and then like taking, so for instance, if Pure World, if all the code for Pure World was available open source, then anybody could just take Pure World code and then build upon that and make a new whatever metaverse, kind of like a layer 2 blockchain is. I'm taking Ethereum and I'm going to use Ethereum and build on top of that and make a little bit better. And now I have Polygon. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally understand those theories. But just the fact that they're allowing that platform to be shared with other developers, that's pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited. So, I think we talked about this last time. I was talking to Mr. Crypto Smith here. I'm very, very excited about the possibilities of MMAI and where things can go. But I'm so reserved on like screaming from the rooftops because of the things that have happened for the past year and the things that I have told people in the past year, like, this is a great fucking project. You got to look into it. You got to invest. And then it just tanked. You know what I mean? And so I have this weird reservation where like, I'm very, very excited about this project. And it's just so legitimate. And everything they show is just very positive. And it's like, it almost feels like, how could this go wrong? But I feel like if I succumb to that feeling, then something will go wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're gun shy. I get it.
Yeah, that's
that makes sense.
Yep.
So I have a question, and everything you guys said sounds awesome. I don't know crap about open source and Unreal Engine 5 and all that, so I'll leave that to the experts. It does sound very positive to allow other developers to make some sort of in-game content and profit from that. That's obviously a good thing to get more people involved in the project. F. Joe has a great question, and I actually was just thinking about this yesterday. He says, I asked before in Spaces, but had to leave before answered. Is there any plans to have our own dedicated tech team because students quit and teachers leave, right? And that's what I was thinking. If this stuff is being built, let's say the game itself is being built by, transitory, students who are coming and going, how do we keep all this together? Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that, so that is an NS Labs problem, if that makes sense. Like MMAI and Cognito are partnered with NS Labs, and all of the development and the students, the teachers, and all that is all NS Labs is that's their issue. I don't think there's anything MMAI or Cognito can do to control that or to really have. I was gonna say they can't have a say in it, but they can because we're partners and they paid them to have this partnership, right? But that's kind of like any school though, right? Like students come and go, teachers come and go. There's always going to be somebody to replace them. I don't like saying that, but that's really kind of true. Like I've been working in IT since 2001 or something like that. And I'm fully aware that at any point in time, I can be replaced, right? Like I'm not the only guy that knows the stuff that I know. So I think the retention is the wrong word. What's the word? The fail safe's the wrong word. The backup plan or whatever. I don't know the word, but the fact is that it all belongs to NS Labs. So if students leave and teachers leave, that doesn't matter because the technology stays with NS Labs. They own it. They have it. So when new students and new teachers come in, they just pick up where they left off. And hopefully their internal documentation is at a point where any person can come off the street, read their documentation, and just boom, I'm caught up. I get it. I know exactly what's going on. And that's kind of a tech thing. I don't know if you guys work in the tech industry, but documentation is big. And I was always taught that if you were going to write any type of document or like a wiki or a how-to or anything, you have to write it as if the person reading it has never, ever worked with your product before, so that any Joe Blow can come off the street and I say, do A, do B, do C, and they know exactly how to do it. So as long as their documentation is there, it doesn't matter if students leave. It doesn't matter if teachers leave. We're talking about, I believe, the #1 technical institute in Korea, right? So people want to be involved in the school. Students will come, teachers will come. I don't, in my personal opinion, I don't think there's a concern.
Okay.
Man,
No,
So
if I could chime in,
yeah, please.
the dynamics are a bit different here. This with the constant recycling nature of an institution like that, of a college, of a school atmosphere, of the student factor, it makes this way different than your normal, situation like business tech company, like a firm, essentially, like a blockchain firm or something. You're dealing with people who've already been to school. They're workers, they're actually employees. That is a totally different dynamic versus what we have here with NS Labs. You have a constant fluctuation, a redundant recycling factor when it comes to students and teachers. When one goes, the other. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's so beautiful about this situation, bro. We don't have to worry about that here because that talent pool is always going to be filled and it's always going to be recycled. So if somebody leaves, hey, good luck to you. We got somebody else already coming in, already primed and ready to go, come study, get their PhD. So this is different, bro. The dynamics are way different.
Yeah, and they're not just South Korea, right? Like they've said that they're pulling people from other countries to come in and help solve problems for those countries that they're coming from. I have no reason at the moment to doubt anything that's been said about what NS Labs is doing, and it's all exciting to be a part of, right? Like I'm a we're all a very, very small part of the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? Like the three of us are right now just three dudes on YouTube. We're not doing shit, but talking about the actual shit that's happening. You know what I mean? It's so exciting to be even this itty bitty part of the very bottom of the totem pole on it. I don't mean to downplay anybody, but truthfully, that's what we are. We're the very bottom of the totem pole, but we're involved, and it's exciting to think of what they have, the access to people they have, the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that this school has and NS Labs has. I'm nerding out. This is me being a nerd.
So I want to say thanks to F Joe for showing up here and posting this question. To me, it's a good question, especially for people who don't know, the situation and may not have thought about those types of things, right? And if you have a new student come in and he's taking the place of somebody graduating or moving on or going back home or whatever, if you're saying he can sit in that spot and he can take a few days or a week or whatever it takes to kind of get up to speed, obviously he's going to know what he's doing already as far as the programming goes, or the whatever job they're doing. Then I mean, that sounds totally legit to me. And on the plus side of that, you don't have a lot of people sitting around and kind of getting bored of doing the same thing. You always have fresh people with fresh ideas coming from different backgrounds and experiences, able to add, something different and unique that the other person didn't have. Or if you had some guy sitting there for 10 years working on this game, he may not come up or not be really inspired to come up with anything really revolutionary, if I can use that term. And I don't like that term. So, but you know what I mean? I guess there's a definitely good, definitely a good benefit from that. So, but that was a good question, F. Joe. I appreciate you asking it.
Yeah, he followed up
Almo
too.
has the same.
I'm sorry, he followed up too with, are we always going to have access to NS Labs? And I mean, who knows? Right? Like maybe years from now we don't, but at the moment we have a partnership with them, and as long as that partnership was good, and as long as there's no,
The only way I see that breaking up is if there's something at the leadership level that happens. But I feel like both sides, like the MMAI team and the NS Labs team, are also excited about where they're going to take this. That at the moment, that's not a concern, and I'm blinded to the future. Right? Does that make sense?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I can't see years down the road at the moment. All I can see right now is that everybody is working towards the common goal, and for me, it's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. XXI Gaming, I appreciate you popping in here as well. Thanks for showing up. And Daniel Gayton is decided to come in here and say hi.
Grace us with his presence.
Yeah, what's going on, Daniel? Hope you're having a great night. Let's see, and I'm going to apologize to everybody in the comments because I have not been doing a good job in keeping up with the comments, and I know how frustrating it is if you have a comment or a question about something we're actually talking about, currently. And I don't get to that comment for 30 minutes. That sucks. I know that because
Austin does it all the time.
Yeah, and other ones I participate in, it's kind of the same thing. So yeah, I do apologize. I'm going to have to get better at staying more current with the questions. So let's see, what else do we have here? That was the game. Hang on, I got my dog here making noise. Let's see. Plus, what about MMAI blows up and creates their own space for students to have a career after school? Right. We don't know where this is going to go. A year, 2 years, 3 years from now. If things are a lot bigger, maybe they branch off and they get their own building. With their own set of students or their own employees. Obviously, there's going to have to be some sort of structure there with, not just an IT department, but kind of a customer service, if you will. Or tech department that's helping build people's or businesses like marketplaces and dealing with the billboards and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's going to need to be some sort of basic structure, I guess, around that. I'm not sure how they're going to do or handle that on an ongoing basis, or if that's part of the learning experience is getting to do customer service work. Let's see. Yeah, that's the question. Always going to have access. I mean, yeah, I would assume at least short term, yes, that's always going to be the case. But who knows, what happens going forward. I think if it's good and everybody's benefiting from it, then there wouldn't be any reason to move on from that. And then, so this is going to be I think the last thing, the smart auto mining. Obviously, I don't really want to get into much. I know that while gaming, you can be mining. That's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. So you can be earning while you're gaming, which is going to be obviously a really, really cool thing to do, especially if you're a gamer and you're spending hours and hours a day on it, like my kids do. Then maybe you can earn some tokens. I don't know if it's going to be maybe paid out in the coin, and I think it probably would be. Do you guys know anything different?
Oh, well, I was distracted again because my dog did a thing. What was the question?
So just a quick question. So the smart auto mining that you can be doing while you're playing the game, right? This is down the road, and it's going to be paid. I'm assuming it's going to be paid out in the MMAI coin.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know a whole lot about that
thing,
yet. Yeah. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about before we go here is the NFT marketplace, which is where these the properties that you own, or if you have one of the Keys to the City NFT with associated property, the NFT marketplace that they're currently building, that's where you're going to mint them. You're going to be able to see which property you got, and I imagine it's going to be some sort of an NFT, a real NFT marketplace where you can trade and buy and sell, that kind of stuff. So MMAI says they're going to build tech for the properties, which is what I was just talking about, having a team of people on the back end, helping build out that store that you want, the APIs for the shipping or payment, that kind of stuff. So that's going to be nice to have if you happen to get a property like that where it's a store, you need to build something out. They're going to help you do that. And then MMAI is going to help push business to that NFT marketplace. If you have your NFT up there and it's for sale, or it's just there for show, people can come in, business can come in and see what it is available out there, what you have access to, and then they can decide, they can contact you basically and say, hey, I love where your store is located. I would love to, rent that from you. So they're kind of bringing business in. So I think that's about it as far as utility. I mean, that's a ton of utility. And there was one other thing I know I've had somebody ask me probably more than once now is how come they don't just concentrate on one thing? Let's just get the Pure Wallet done first before they do the game or before they finish the metaverse. And I get that because we've had projects in the past that, tend to spread themselves way too thin, but they really don't have the depth of developers that MMAI has.
Correct.
And so they have separate teams that are each working on a portion of this. So it's not like they're taking away from the wallet team to help build the metaverse. Right? These are separate teams, so you don't have to worry about that. And so hopefully everybody understands that this is not the same old project with 3 devs and a CMO. So that is that. Let's see. I'm already behind in the comments again. Everybody's just saying hi. What's good? Any last questions we have here? Do you got anything left you want to say, Twiz?
Let's just go with no. I feel like I've rambled so much and just said so much. So yeah.
Brucey says you're drunk off of Mike's Hard Lemonade. Actually, it was a Long Island iced tea. I think he had
a frozen Long Island iced
frozen
tea, and it was a lot of ounces.
Nice. All right. Well, you're allowed. It's you're not working, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I rarely drink. It's probably been a month since I've had. No, that's not true. Super Bowl was the last time I had a drink. What was that? 2 weeks ago or whatever? I don't know. And I've had the one, and that's all I'll have probably for another 2 or 3 weeks.
No.
But
I'll tell you,
it was a big one. And look, leave me alone. Okay.
So last night I went to some buddies at work. We had a poker party at one of the guys' houses. Where do we usually go to? I forgot to bring my beer. I'm pulling in the driveway and I'm thinking I forgot to stop at the store and grab a 6-pack of whatever I like to drink. And so I get in there. I'm like, hey, may I just have a couple of your beers? But I forget he drinks Bud, original Budweiser. That's it.
Gross.
So yeah. So I suffered through a couple of those and I'm like, I think I'm done.
Suffered.
I mean, it's beer still. I'm still going to drink it, but I didn't enjoy it like
Bud Light. I don't know about a fucking Budweiser.
It's been probably 30 years since I've had a regular Budweiser.
Yeah,
you were brave. You were brave to have that. Those things, they let's just say they get things moving. Let's just say
yeah. I had a bit of heartburn this morning as well, so I'm assuming it was from that. So Crypto Lounge, do you have anything you would like to add to the MMAI story?
It's a beautiful thing, as I always say. And you mentioned something that was very important for people to know. This dev team, it's not just 3 devs, and we're not working in our garages. We're not in the storage building, putting this together. This is a multi-dimensional development going on, and they have the resources to be able to work on multiple things. And I think that's what's really cool about this. This is my first time seeing anything like this in the space, and actually hearing what's going to happen and seeing it. We've been into this Pure world. We know what the wallet looks like. We've been troubleshooting it and things of that nature. So these things are actually happening. It's pretty cool, So, and patience, you have to have patience still, even though we have these resources available. MMAI does have these resources available. You still have to be patient, innovation still takes time, but it's a really cool situation to be able to just kind of observe, man, and hopefully everything works out, which I most definitely think it will.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And then, so it's as far as time frame goes, I believe the very next thing to happen is the new beta version of the Pure Wallet that people get to test, and then after that is the NFT marketplace, which is, they say, could a month ish, right? We don't really know exactly when. There's no dates. They're not going to set a date for it. So we're going to say. And the game actually is going to drop. The beta version of the game is going to drop in a week or so, I imagine, as well. So that's what we have to look forward to. So it should be a busy month for everybody here in MMAI, and I look forward to it. I appreciate you guys coming on the show and giving me your unique perspectives. And for Twiz of rambling on and on, it's
Damn it.
really
Absolutely, man. I've always liked coming into the forge, man.
I appreciate it.
Sorry.
Twiz, yeah, no, it's good, Twiz. 'Cause, yeah, I know you get a little, maybe it's a little more information, or maybe you get it faster, maybe not more information. So I always enjoy the perspective that you bring. So that's
Thanks.
it.
I'm sorry, it's not always coherent.
It's okay. That's all right, man. It's always fun. I had a good time.
Damn it.
So everybody else here, I do appreciate you guys showing up. Joy T, I didn't mention you. Thanks for popping in here. I'm just about to end it. But everybody that showed up, I do appreciate you guys. I'm going to try to do a little bit better time at handling the chat because I just continue to get so far behind. But you guys have a great night and a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Toodles.
Peace.